In this tutorial, we're going to talk about text, and the way to use text is just by typing the letter T on your keyboard, just like that, and it takes us to the type tool from the toolbox. Now, if you click and hold the type tool, you will notice that there are so many options that we will cover eventually, but let's now work on just using the type tool, the simple first option. Now, usually I notice that students tend to, once they have the type tool selected, before typing anything on the artboard, they click and drag and open a box and start typing. I don't like doing this because it will force you to type within this limited space, right? If you're typing a paragraph, then by all means go ahead and do this. But otherwise, what you need to do is just take the type tool and click once on the artboard, just like that. And where you see that blinking is where you will write whatever word you need. So let's say I'm writing the word hello. Sorry. Okay, so this is my word. What I want to do is select it so that I change its size, its perhaps thickness, maybe choose a different font and stuff like that. So the way I can do that is while you see the blinking at the last letter, you can just hit, as I always mention, Command A, which will select the whole word for you. And then to increase the size of the word, for example, you can either go to you see where it says I have obviously the character panel open, and I can just click on this arrow to increase the size by doing so, or click on this drop down to select one of the default sizes like 48, let's say. Now the shortcut to working with type size is and I like working with shortcuts because it saves time and you become quicker and all that. So the shortcut to working with type size is hitting Command Shift and then the caret key on your keyboard, which is what I'm doing now. So just to clarify what the caret key is, it's that key that also has the point, and the other caret key is the one that has the comma. So to increase in size, I'm going to hit on the caret key, or the arrow, if you will. It's an arrow on your keyboard, and that will increase the size of my font. I'm obviously holding the Command and the Shift key down with two fingers and clicking on the caret key. To decrease in size, again, I'm holding the Command and Shift keys and then clicking on the left arrow key, if you will, or the caret with the comma key, which is what I'm doing now. So again, this is a good way. Instead of holding a drop down and doing it manually, you just do it quickly on your keyboard. So there you go, a word that says hello. Now let's go ahead and change the font. Obviously, my default is saying Myriad. Perhaps I want to choose a different font, so I'll do that by clicking on this drop down on the right side. The panel that shows the character, actually, to get to it, let me close it to show you. To get to it, you can hit Command T, so T like table. Hit Command T and the character panel will open. Okay, so let's change the character from the font from Myriad Pro to, let's say, maybe Georgia or something. Let me look for it. It's right here. And then if certain texts have additional options like regular, italic, bold, I'm going to select italic in this case. So this is the word hello in Georgia italic. Now, if you want to maybe change the color, you can go to the swatches panel, which is normally open unless you delete colors and so forth. So I want to make it red, for example, and so forth. So it's really, you can do so much with this just by changing colors. Perhaps you want to add a stroke color. Now, if you look at the color palette here in my toolbox, I have red. If I want to add, for example, a black stroke for this, I can just click on the stroke right here, to put it in the foreground, or just hit the letter X. The stroke will become in the foreground, and then I can choose the black from my swatches panel. Now I can control the stroke as well. We mentioned strokes and fills earlier in another tutorial. Perhaps I want this to be, let's say, change it to 0.02, which will make it a thicker stroke, as you see, or perhaps something even thicker like 0.1. Okay, this is too thick. Let me drag it back down to 0.07, for example. There you go. So this is an example of working with strokes and fill. For this exercise, I'm going to remove the stroke again. So just click on the None key on your color palette at the bottom. Now, an important thing you can do with text is creating outlines. The shortcut to creating outlines is Command-Shift-O. Actually, before doing that, let's explain what creating outlines is. Currently, our word hello is a type. It's text, right? Which means if I need to add text, for example, let's say hello, comma, how are you? There you go. Oops. I'm able to do so because it's still text, right? And I know that because when I select my element, I see that I'm able to type additional words or erase something, let's say if I make a mistake or so. So by just hovering with the type tool on a letter, I can change it to a different letter like so. Obviously this is wrong, so I'll erase it. Okay, but sometimes we need to do artistic things with type. For example, we want to make, let's say, a logo that is made up of the word hello, but the O doesn't have a white emptiness in the center. How do we do that? For example, now the first thing I want to do is erase the rest of the type, and I'll do that by selecting my phrase and then clicking here right before the comma and then selecting everything else and erasing. Okay, I want to create outlines in this case. Let me show you how this looks in preview mode. Again, it's very good to keep going to preview mode. So hit Command Y, and you see obviously that your text is editable. Okay, again, editable means I can add or remove letters. Going back to regular mode, if I now create outlines from this word by doing Command-Shift-O, so hit Command-Shift-O, well, obviously you have to have your object selected first, and then hit Command-Shift and O. This will create outlines of your word. Let's go into preview mode and see how this looks. So now it says hello, but in outlines, which means actually at this point that we cannot edit this word anymore if we intend to type something. If I use the type tool and bring the cursor, put it next to one of these letters, this dotted rectangle that you see around the type tool means that you can't type anything anymore. And if you do so, if you try, like clicking, it's not going to let you. It's going to create a new type for you, and it will allow you to write a new word, but it won't let you edit the word that you just outlined. Now, since I outlined my word, I can go ahead and get rid of this innermost circle and create that red oval for the O, which I wish to do. So I can do that by if you want, I can go to the preview mode and delete that innermost circle, or I can do it from here. Let me zoom in. And what I need now is, and I'm glad we covered the selection tutorial, the selection tool tutorial previously. What I need to do is not use the selection tool on the letter O, because if I do, it's going to select the whole word for me. what I need to do is use the direct selection tool. So let me click on that, and then hover over this innermost circle. Okay, so hover over that and then click once. Now if I click once, you can see that all of my vector points are white except for what I have here. I have that line that I clicked on selected, and I see the two tangent handles. We'll cover tangent handles later on, but this means that I have only that line selected. Okay, which means if I hit delete, which is my intention currently, it only is going to delete that small part of my selection. So if I choose to do this, then I need to delete one more time in order to get rid of the entire selection. Another way to do this is just to, instead of clicking once on the innermost circle, I can click once, but before doing that, hold down the Alt and the Shift keys. So let me go ahead and hold down the Alt and the Shift key, and you will see that plus sign appearing next to the direct selection tool. Now if you click on the innermost circle, it's going to select the whole circle for you with every single vector point in blue, which means you can now hit delete without worrying that it will only delete that little line that you clicked on, because it currently selected the entire ellipse for you. So let me go and hit delete, and that's it. So if I go to preview mode, you will see that we got rid of the innermost circle. And this is an example of how useful creating outlines is with type.